Okay, this is a quick introduction to a very special car, the Renault Kangoo Electric. It's an EV, a plug-in EV. This car was produced 2002 on the base of the normal Kangoo chassis. The only difference is the connector for the mains, seen at the right, and the batteries that are at the bottom of the vehicle. And here. Otherwise, it's a completely normal version of this vehicle and does offer all the usual amenities, and something that is quite special for this type of vehicle, which is 3 seat belts in a row, full seat belts, not such that are coming down from the roof of the car. Getting into the vehicle, we can see that it's an automatic, and dashboard is more or less normal, except for gauge for the main battery, traction battery. Car is currently charging. Since there is a plug-in hybrid version of this car, you still have a fuel gauge. However, this car does not have any hybrid parts, so this gauge always shows empty. This gauge here shows the economy of the car when it is in motion. Any reading above horizontal will show consumption. Any reading below will show either charging, as it does it doing now, or recuperation, i.e. turning the kinetic energy back into electric energy. We have the normal indicators as with any other Kangoo, and maximum speed of this vehicle on the straight is about 110 to 120 kilometers an hour. Slightly downwards, downhill, I would say we could easily reach the 140 indicated here. The menu down here is a menu that shows a lot of different information. We can actually choose a wide range of information to look at during our trip, such as this one here, which is a tableau d'avant, which would be the temperature of the front battery pack, which is currently at 27 degrees. The back pack would then show 26 degrees. We have a number of dials here, normal ones and special ones, such as this one here, which would be heating the car from the plug in winter, since in winter driving with the heating on will consume more energy than required to actually drive the car. Okay, let's have a quick look under the hood, shall we? Here we go. First of all, you can see there's a lot of air. A 30 kilowatt electrical engine, electrical motor, with direct transmission to the axles. We have an electrical controller called CEV, which is contrôle électrique du véhicule électrique, contrôle électronique du véhicule électrique. And since the rest of the car is pretty much normal, we still need a 12-volt battery here to buffer for our usage without the engine on. However, the engine is always on, since the DC-DC converter actually charges the 12-volt battery when necessary. One big fan right down here is one of the things that needs to be checked pretty regularly, since if this piece of equipment here gets too warm, it will die eventually. This car actually is an original version from Renault, so all parts come directly from Renault. Production itself is outsourced to places like Archaic and others. One thing that really is strange are huge, these bits here and these bits here. These are huge lead weights to compensate for the missing internal combustion engine. Driving this car is a very interesting experience, since in comparison to an internal combustion engine, you do have full torque from the first second onwards. My wife really likes driving this car, since at a crossing you will always get away pretty quickly. The electrical contactor, called the Marechal, can be opened like so, and currently can charge between 10 amps and 16 amps at 230 volts. However, the connector itself, if then equipped differently, can also at the same time bring about 150 amps DC to the car, which then brings charging times down to about half an hour for 100 kilometers of reach. So, and this autonomy is then very heavily dependent on temperatures outside. In winter, at about -10, you will experience a reduction of about 20 to 30%, and as I said before, if you would then start using the heating, then you would use even more energy, and your autonomy would go down to about 50 kilometers. Charging times are about 4 hours at 16 amps and 8 to 8.5 hours at 10 amps. So let's go and have a look what kind of volts we've got right now. We can see that currently at 100 and something volts we have 19 amps being pushed back into the battery. If we then look at the volts, it's 152 currently, which will then go up to 181 at the end of the charge. We are currently consuming a 13 point something. This is the battery, the auxiliary battery, which is at 13.3 volts. Currently we're consuming 13 amps, so this is 13 amps at 13 volts. It is about 260 watts. And here, obviously, since we're not driving, the 3 phases of the main motor, and then we're going to go back to the main menu and quickly check what we've got here. C-Pilot says that we've still got 77 amp hours to charge until we can continue driving, if we would want to fill the car or charge it to a maximum of 100%. Okay, hope this gave you an overview. Maybe something that is interesting here, we've got a capacité totale which is 104%, which is basically a bug because you can't go much above 100%. However, it shows that these batteries are currently at mint condition. Okay guys, thank you for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing Renault's interpretation of an electrical car beginning of 2000, and you then might enjoy the next engines and cars to come from Renault.